Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. Just as I finished the ball joint recently for this car, I noticed that there was kind of an intermittent squeak. When I went back and I took everything apart, I realized that the rotor's warped. Why is it warped? I don't know. Is it anything I did? I seriously doubt that because when I worked on it, the car was cold. But I think maybe because the ball joint was so worn, the squeak was masking this noise along with all the other little creaks in the car. But guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the car for a quick drive. I'll allow you to hear what the noise sounds like. After I get the tire and get the car onto a jack, I will show you how I managed to confirm that the problem is a warped rotor. So guys, what I'll do now is I'll take it for a quick test drive and then we'll do material and tools. Alright guys, we'll take the car for a quick spin here. Find a nice steep hill just like this one here. So you guys can hear the sound of the rotor. Alright guys, this is our material list. So we have gloves, we have our rotor. This is a Raybestos brand rotor. Penetrating oil, grease, and then brake cleaner. Guys, this is what I believe I need to do this job. So what we'll do now is the tools list. Alright guys, this is our tools list. So I have sockets. I have impact sockets. So this will be 19 millimeter for lug nuts. And then the number 3 Phillips for the rotor screws. I have a jack. This time I'm just going to use 2 blocks because this is going to be so quick I don't even feel it's necessary to use a jack stand. Guys, for safety equipment we have earplugs, we have glasses, and then we have the 1/2 inch impact. Guys, for tools, this is what I need to do this job, so let's get started. Alright guys, first thing we're going to do is jack up the car. So this is our jacking point right here. Alright, next will be our 19 millimeter lug nuts. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin the rotor and then just watch the caliper move back and forth. So you see how the caliper is moving back and forth? That means that the rotor is now warped, it's no longer straight. Alright guys, so our caliper bracket bolts are 17 mil. So that's that one there. And then that's that top one there. Alright, so I'll hit it with a little bit of penetrating fluid. And now I will undo the 2 17 mils. Alright guys, so with that off, I'll spin it and then look right here. So you can see how it's warped. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're just going to put our new rotor over the old one. So the lug nuts line up. It looks like it's the same diameter all the way around. So the rotor looks good. We'll hit the screws with a little bit of penetrating oil. And now we'll take the 2 screws out. And we have our rotor. Alright guys, we'll take our brake cleaner and then we'll clean off any oil or residue from the factory. They normally put a coating on this to keep it from rusting. Alright guys, for our new rotor, we're just going to put a little bit of grease where the 2 are going to touch just so they don't rust together. Guys, once again, just a skim coat is fine. All right, for our 2 holes, that's where our Phillips screws are gonna go. So we have to orientate this to the screws. All right, so make sure you give it a turn. Make sure nothing is dragging. You don't hear anything out of the ordinary. That seems fine. All right, guys, so we're gonna put our caliper back on. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind is this is a new rotor, so it's thicker than the old one. Just looking at it, I would say the old rotor is 1/8 of an inch, or about 3 millimeters thinner than this new rotor. So you're gonna have to push the piston back in to make enough space between the pads to get the caliper back on. Alright, with the caliper tightened back on, now you want to give it a spin. Alright, everything seems fine, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the tire back on. I'll lower the car, I'll torque the lug nuts to 80 foot-pounds, and then I'll go and take the car for a test drive. Alright guys, so that concludes this project. So for this project, I mean, everything was simple to take off. I just did the ball joint, so there were no issues about things resting together or anything like that. I think for the most part, the hardest part will be to get the Phillips screws out between the rotor and the bearing assembly. I just did it so it was relatively easy. But I mean, guys, this is a very simple, straightforward job. Definitely you can do this on your own. You just need the tools to do it. Guys, the time on this job, the time was about 30 minutes. This is another job. It actually took me longer to get everything ready for filming than to do the actual job itself. But it's a simple, straightforward job that I think with minimal experience, you should be able to do this on your own. The cost of this job. So the rotor was $40, and then the brake cleaner, penetrating oil, and the bit of grease was probably about $10. So guys, call it $50 in total. But this is a cheap job. It's simple. It's definitely something you can do on your own, especially with my video. This should be able to walk you through at least the 6th generation 96 to 2000. Now guys, I also looked at my Honda Fit video, and it is the same thing. The design hasn't changed. So I would say from 96 to 2011, I don't know any other generations beyond that. But guys, for what, almost 20 years of this car, you should be good to go with the information I've provided you here. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you on your project when you need to go ahead and do that. Guys, until next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.